Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of The Tea with Pius and
Solomon.
And today we want to respond to questions. You guys have been listening and we've gotten overwhelming comments and questions. We put them together here and we shall be going through each one of them. So your voice is important. So let's get down with it.
Awesome.
Here is another gentleman called David. He's saying, this is to you, Solo. It is often said life is lived forward but understood backwards. What is the one thing or one person you look back and you're very proud that you took the leap to pursue?
One person.
Or one thing.
Or one thing. I have too many, honestly. I'm blessed like that, especially over the last 10 years. I mean, listen, that corny saying, your network is your net worth, it's corny for a reason, because it's true most of the time. And so people say it a lot. And for me, you know, I'll approach it as opposed to singling one out. I'll say I am so privileged and blessed to have really, my contact list is insane. The number of people I can call right now who will take my call, sometimes even I can't believe it. I pinch myself. In fact, a lot of times I'll find myself praying, asking God, please don't let me screw this connection up. I don't even know why I have access to them, why they give me time, why they give me space. I have no value to add to them because they are such high value personalities and characters, and I have nothing to offer them. You know, I have everything to gain in terms of their experience, their generosity, their wisdom, in some cases their capital for investment. Many of them have invested in our business and supported us financially in that sense, and help us unlock the commercial opportunities in our industry. That has been the one single thing I can't even take credit for, to be honest. It's purely God's favor and grace, the opportunity to meet people who enrich your life in one way or the other. In friendships, I have a friend, for instance. I won't call him out because obviously I didn't know I'd be talking about him. I always like to ask permission before I name people these days when we're filming. But this guy, you know, when I came home after being an illegal immigrant for all those years, my two younger sisters, my only siblings, introduced me to all their friends. And I was immediately adopted, like I was always there, because I was the long lost brother they had never met, that they used to pray for every week in church. You know, these guys knew everything about me and I had no clue who they were. I mean, it was a very strange thing, but they immediately created a space for me to settle back home very quickly. Anything I needed was offered, even without asking. Because of their relationships with my sisters, right? And this one of them ended up being my best man. Wow. And then I became his after. Another one, he's not in the country at the moment. He'll know who he is if he ever watches this. This guy is, I don't even know how to describe him, honestly. I'll go to Shags, for instance, and my dad will say, hey, how is Nani? I was like, he's cool. I haven't spoken to him in some days, but last we spoke, he was cool. Why do you ask? No, we spoke today. He said he was traveling somewhere, and he sent me 15K to have a good weekend. I'm like, wait, that guy sent you 15? I mean, another Christmas, we went to Shags to spend time with the folks, and we found Dad that Mom had mounted a nice flat screen TV on their wall. And I was impressed. I was like, wow, you guys even have the presence of mind to go out and get a flat screen TV. He's like, no. Nani sent it. He said, Merry Christmas.
Wow.
I was like, actually brought beef between he and I was like, dude, you can't be sending my dad flat screen TVs without telling me, man. Like, let me contribute to Yogo. You know, it's like I look like a negligent son. I mean, those are kinds of people I've been blessed to meet. I always tell people, whatever you do, you find a good person who allows you access to them, treasure it with everything that you can. Don't take it for granted. Those relationships are the key to unlocking your destiny and just having a fulfilled life. So relationships.
Yeah.
Now, Ewe?
Yeah.
And thank you, bro. You know yourself.
Yes.
I'll name you next time after you give me permission. and God bless you, man.
Yes. Wow. The one thing that I did, and I look back and I think it was a stroke of genius. It was in 2004 when I used to be mentored by a guy called Jim Rohn, now the late Jim Rohn. And he posed this question, on whose script do you live? And challenged me to do a 12-month program of defining my success. And everything I am today, everything I have today, I can trace it back to that script. How I live my life today was determined then. And I don't think I would have been as happy as an individual if I hadn't defined my success and written my own life script, which is centered around God. This is a story I've shared before. It's very publicly available, so I'll ask when we come out with this particular content, just put a link to that video, my definition of success. And I know I've received a lot of feedback in groups and from individuals, how it has been a blessing to very many people. And I know somebody needed to hear this today. So that's the one thing that has determined who I am today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good one, man. Good one.
Okay.
I'm in entrepreneurship, and at the same time, I'm a graduate trainee employed on contract basis in a project. One of the reasons I'm double dealing is because there are some papers in engineering that I can't get when I'm my own boss, which at times I feel it limits me. My heart is in entrepreneurship. I opened my business location, which has not started to pay its own rent, so I use my salary. I'm in that line torn between quitting the project, which is paying well, and give my business 100% of my attention and giving it time to be able to sustain itself so that I don't strain if I quit. Any advice?
Again, we all have these moments. Sometimes we like calling them come to Jesus moments, where you need to make a difficult decision. You need to take a leap of faith. And it's very difficult for any outside or any third party to give you very precise advice. But inside each one of us, at that point in time, we have a conviction, a strong conviction. If we go into Solo's story, how Grand Acres and Goshen acquisitions came to be, you will narrow down to a conviction and a moment where there needed to be a leap of faith. If you narrow down to my story, you will also come to a point where I needed to make a decision, a big decision. Do I do this or do I do that? So now, moving, so that one I would want you to look at what's your conviction? If your business idea is so compelling that it cannot wait for tomorrow, it is clear you need to jump out. It is so big, and you can see all the success that will come with it. It is needed in the market and not 10 years from now, then you really need to jump out. If your business idea is something that will take time, and you have you're in an amazing opportunity, employment opportunity, that is giving you very good experience that would help you to put together your business, then you probably may consider, taking that decision slower and then transition into that big thing. But that's a decision only an individual can make. So I think for me, I've given some guidance. I don't know whether, Solo, you have some thoughts around it.
No, I think you hit it on the head. At some point, you have to pick one master. You can't serve two masters. There's a lot of talk about creating secondary sources of income, even if you're employed. Yes, that's possible, but only to an extent. And so I think some soul searching is necessary. And I understand it can be difficult when you have bills to pay. But you have to make a decision. Maybe put off the business for a while and focus on your certification, professional certification, master it, become a master of that. Then once you're done, you can give your full attention to your business, assuming obviously you're practicing sound financial habits, which Pius is always talking about, which is save, pay yourself first, invest, live beneath your means, and then build up the capital. Another good thing you might want to do is learn how to raise funding for your business. Understand how you need to package a story and reach out to people who can support you financially to build the business responsibly. I find there's very little emphasis on that in our education system. When I was struggling when I was in campus and struggling as an illegal immigrant, I remember thinking to myself, man, I learned everything wrong in school. I don't know how to budget. I don't know how to manage my few coins. No one taught me how to raise funding for a business. The stuff that actually matters. The stuff that allows you to provide for self and family. Some of the richest guys I ever met were the most ignorant in terms of education. Illiterate, I should say, not ignorant. And it really challenged my notions about education versus productivity. And it sounds to me like this individual is in that place where they need to do some soul searching and decide where the most value, the greater value is for them. There's that parable of the guy who goes out and finds, I think it was diamond in a field. And when he finds a diamond, he buries it quickly before other guys find out. He goes back home and sells everything. Sells everything, comes back to buy the field because he knows there's more diamonds down there. I mean, you might need to decide which field you're willing to buy, and then stick to that decision. That would be my advice.
Also, a common mistake that I've seen, there are quite a number of guys around me who have done this leap of faith. And then, you know, a couple of months later, they are calling you, like, you know, I'm struggling to pay rent, I'm struggling to provide for my family. And I'm like, I mean, I'm struggling with business. Business is not as I expected. And I find the decision was not well thought out. Not that the business is wrong. So what I normally advise, especially our customers who are looking to make that leap of faith, is to build some passive income. If you go into a new business venture, but there's some money that comes into your account, whether you show up at work or not in that business, then it gives you the freedom to experiment, explore, fail, recover, and really go full throttle on this one thing that you really believe in. So what I would say to such an individual, do not over-glorify this phrase, taking a leap of faith. Say, in the next 2 years, my objective, my biggest, we like calling it internally, widely important goal. My widely important goal is that by December 2025, I will have moved from this job to my business, having had a passive income, created a passive income of, let's say, 100K a month. So that business venture, you're actually activating it now, not then, because you're doing something about how you'll survive beyond this season so that you can really go full throttle. And business is all about taking risks. And there are many failures along the way. And that's, again, normal. But you don't need to be in a business where your mind, you're worrying about food and other things. You really can't express yourself properly to your customers. You'll be like, you need to be my customer so that I can pay bills. And no customer wants that. Anyone.
They don't owe you jack.
Yeah. No customer wants to be a sale.
Yeah.
Every customer wants to be a relationship. Every customer wants to be your friend. And that is something that our customers are able to see through us. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Those of you who are watching virtually, we really appreciate you taking time to listen in with the audience here. We are so grateful for the opportunity to share our experiences. Hopefully it adds value to your lives. We hope you'll continue to stay tuned. We'll have more episodes coming up. If you have any questions, please send them through. Make comments. Make sure you like the videos and subscribe and share them only with people that you like, please. We'll look forward to seeing you next time. I am Solomon.
And I'm Pius Mushiri, and this is the T.